Kia ora koutou, my name is Faye and I'm a member of the University of Auckland Schools and Community Engagement team. This is a general course advice presentation for those who are interested in studying at Waipapa Taumata Rau, the University of Auckland. This presentation will cover some useful terminology as well as some more specifics about what courses you may take at the university and how you go about choosing them. This presentation is a general overview and is not faculty or program specific. So please feel free to check out our faculty advice videos should you want any more specialized course advice. Before we dive into the nitty-gritty of our presentation today, let's quickly cover off some key terminology used in the university environment. The first potentially new term or concept is that of faculties. At the university, we have 6 different faculties. Each faculty looks after the different programs, study interests, and research areas at the university. On this slide, you can see our 6 faculties listed alphabetically, going from the Faculty of Arts and Education right through to the Faculty of Science. Within each faculty, you will find that they also branch out into their own little departments and schools. These look after the different areas within each faculty. For example, under the Faculty of Science, you may find the Department of Statistics or the School of Environment. Simply put, a faculty is a faction within the university, normally focused on 1 or 2 broad subject areas. A department or a school is a smaller unit inside of the faculty which is focused on typically one specific subject area. Continuing on with some more need-to-know terms. First up on this list is university, a fairly self-explanatory one, but this is the organization where you'll be studying. Next is undergraduate. An undergraduate is simply a student who is studying their first degree at university. So being an undergraduate simply means that you have not yet received a tertiary level qualification. The first undergraduate degree undertaken by a student at university is usually a bachelor's degree. Program refers to the specific course of study you enroll in. For example, you may enroll to study a Bachelor of Commerce. Degree. This is the qualification you get at the end of your program. So it may be something like you graduate with a Bachelor of Commerce degree or a Bachelor of Science degree, maybe even a Bachelor of Engineering, depending on what program you've taken. Next in the list, we have majors and specializations. A major is the main subject or topic you'll focus in on your degree. This may be something like history, criminology, marketing, or something else. And a specialization refers to a more specific focus within your program. So it may be something like if you were studying engineering, perhaps you would specialize in civil engineering or mechanical engineering. When you look at doing your bachelor's degree, you will find that they either offer majors or specializations. Please note that we do not offer minors at the University of Auckland. Typically, majors are a bit more flexible than specializations. Some programs allow you to do a single major or a double major, whilst others may require you to do a double major. A double major simply refers to a degree that includes 2 majors, whilst a single major involves only doing one. At university, about 1/3 of the papers you take in your degree would be making up a major. A specialization, on the other hand, is a specific focus area. This normally includes higher level study, and when you pick something as your specialization, your entire degree becomes quite focused on that topic, so you won't be able to combine 2 specializations, and you can't do a major and a specialization. Now, let's take a look at some components of a degree at the university. A university degree will consist of courses. Courses, papers, and subjects essentially mean the same thing, but at the University of Auckland, we typically refer to these as courses. If you look at the blue boxes on the slide, you can see some example of how courses may be referred to. As you can tell, courses will generally have an abbreviated name denoting what that paper relates to, alongside an assigned number or code. For example, the Stage 1 Psychology paper, Mind, Brain and Behavior, may be referred to as Psych 109. The number attached to a course relates to the stage that course covers. 100 level courses offer Stage 1 university papers, 200 level offer Stage 2, 300 for Stage 3, and so on. As such, you will be looking for 100 level courses when you start to enroll for your first year of university. Some courses will have a G at the end, for example, Law 121G. This G simply denotes that the course can be used as a general education paper. If you don't know what a general education paper is just yet, don't worry. I will cover more about what that means later on in the presentation. Next, we have lectures and tutorials or labs. Your timetable at university will be split into these components. Lectures could range from 50 to 600 people. This is where you learn the core content of your course in a larger group setting. Tutorials or labs are a smaller subset of that lecture. For every lecture you have, you will generally also have a tutorial or lab to go with it. This can be made up of around 10 to 25 people, and it is where you will spend time going through your readings, the content you learnt in your lectures, working on assignments, and you have lots of group discussions. Typically, a standard week at university would consist of 2 to 3 hours worth of lectures and 1 tutorial or lab per paper. So now we have covered some terminology. I want to just quickly take some time to encourage you all to apply as soon as possible, and remember to always check the deadline for applications to your desired program to avoid disappointment. This slide refers to the closing dates for applications, but remember, the sooner you apply, the better. So just because it's the closing date, that does not mean it's the date you apply. Once you've applied, you may receive a fast-track offer from the university. Fast-track offers typically go out from mid-May all the way through to December. This is the university's way of saying you did a great job in Year 12 and we think you'll hit the rank score for some of the degrees you applied for based on this. Keep in mind, all fast-track offers are conditional offers. A conditional offer means you still have to meet the rank score, university entrance, and any subject or additional requirements needed for the relevant program. Some of you may have received a fast-track offer or many fast-track offers. You are more than welcome to accept one of them, 2 of them, or even all of them. If you haven't received a fast-track offer, do not worry. Not all programs offer them, and your application to study will still be assessed once your Year 13 results are out. Once an offer is received, you can log back into your application for admission online and follow the instructions to accept it. Before university officially starts, we have some exciting summer programs that you may be interested in looking into. Summer Start is a 6-week program that gives eligible school leavers the opportunity to gain credits towards their degree and start their university journey early. Unibound Summer is a 6-week academic enrichment program that prepares Pacific school leavers for university studies. Toiaki Waipapa is a program for Māori students that offers an on-campus experience with culturally appropriate learning and support to help eligible students take their studies to the next level. If you are interested in any of these programs, please note down the relevant dates on the slide and have a look at our university website online for more information. It is also good to be aware that these programs do have some fees attached and there's no fees free, so we encourage students to apply for scholarships that are available. This slide shows you an easy to reference timeline of what steps lay ahead of you. Firstly, make sure you have applied before the relevant application closing date. After applying, you can relax, concentrate on your exams if you have any, and enjoy your summer break. Then, in around mid-January, you may receive an email from the university offering you a place into any degree you applied for that you successfully met the entry requirements for. You will then need to accept the offer for the program that you most want to go into and enroll in your courses. After enrolling, you can relax until you pack your bags and move to uni, ready for O Week, where you will get acclimatized to the university environment and have the opportunity to attend many fun and exciting events. Finally, after O Week, your first official week of university will begin. So, I mentioned on the previous slide that there is a bit where you need to enroll. Enrolling is different to applying and accepting an offer into a program, and you will need to enroll in courses before you begin your first semester. Throughout this presentation, I will cover some details about what the enrollment process entails. There are also lots of other handy resources available on our university website to help you through this process if you get stuck. As previously mentioned, programs at the university are made up of courses. Each course you take at university has a specific amount of points associated with it. The average number of points per course is 15. During the semester, you will do assessments for each course that you are enrolled in. Then, at the end of the semester, if you successfully pass all the necessary assessments, you will pass the course and earn the associated amount of points. This means that if you do the typical 4 classes per semester and you pass every course, you will earn 60 points for that semester. 2 semesters per year means that each year doing the standard full-time study of 8 courses per year will earn you 120 points towards your degree so long as you pass all of the courses you've taken. Do this 3 times across 3 years and there you have it. You will have taken 24 courses, earning you 360 points, which is the average amount of points needed to be awarded your bachelor's degree. The structure of a conjoint degree is largely similar, with the courses you take being split across your 2 semesters in the year. However, one difference may be that students doing conjoints often elect to take 9 courses per year instead of 8. This would generally involve 4 courses in semester 1 and 5 courses in semester 2. If you decide that the workload of 5 courses in one semester is too much, that's totally okay. You can still do the standard 8 courses per year and you will just finish your conjoint slightly later on. Now let's take a look at the program structures themselves. Our team categorizes the programs we have on offer into 3 main structures dependent on the level of choice involved when picking your courses. The 3 structures are flexible, semi-structured, and structured. Flexible degrees allow you to make the majority of your course selections yourselves based on the majors and the courses associated with those majors. Semi-structured refers to degrees where your courses might be a combination of pre-selected or prescribed courses alongside some courses where you have a bit more flexibility to choose. Structured degrees generally have little choice involved when it comes to the courses you take. These may be thought of a bit more like a set pathway that's already all mapped out for you to follow for you to graduate with the specific degree you've chosen. Here is a list of programs offered at the University of Auckland. The color coding on the slide demonstrates whether the program is flexible, semi-structured, or structured. Have a look to see if you can spot what you want to study so you can see how it's categorized. Please note that whilst science may be seen as a flexible degree or program, this may vary dependent on the major or specialization you choose, with some science pathways involving less choice than others. So let's take a look at some examples. On the screen, we have the sample program structure for each level of flexibility. The purple shading is all the stuff that is predetermined for you. That is, we have already told you what you need to enroll in. It's compulsory to take those specified papers in order to meet the requirements of your degree. Now, the light blue shading indicates the papers where there's a bit more choice involved. You can see that you get way more choice after your first year in commerce, and the property degree only really starts to incorporate flexibility or choice in the final year of study. So talking about flexible degrees, how do you choose those courses or papers? For those of you wanting to do a Bachelor of Arts, your degrees are designed as follows. Generally, as mentioned before, you will take 8 courses per year, with 4 in each semester. It is important to note that all students must take the compulsory Waipapa Taumata Rau course in year 1. The rest of the papers will be allocated to one of your 2 chosen majors, or there may be electives. If this sounds confusing, do not worry. We have a filled out example in the next few slides. We will also cover off how you find what papers are available for your degree later on when discussing course outlines and program requirements. Now let's zoom in and take a closer look at what your first year might actually look like if you were studying a Bachelor of Arts. This example uses a student who's majoring in criminology and sociology. In semester 1, they're taking 1 course for their criminology major, 1 course for their sociology major, an elective course, they've chosen history, and the core university paper Waipapa Taumata Rau. In Semester 2, they continue with another criminology course, another sociology course, and a second history paper as their elective. They've also taken a general education course in sustainability. Next on the flexible program list is science. This setup is similar but slightly different to the arts degree example. This is because science tells you some courses you need to enroll into for each major. On the screen is an example of a first-year Bachelor of Science student majoring in mathematics. Once you have accepted an offer for a degree, you will gain access to Student Services Online, where you can view your program requirements. If you were this Bachelor of Science student majoring in mathematics, once you looked at your program requirements page, you would see that for this degree and major, there are 3 required Stage 1 maths papers. It is important to note that required courses are compulsory and must be taken to fulfill the requirements of a program. For this major, the required Stage 1 papers are Maths 120, Maths 130, and Maths 162, as well as the Science Waipapa Taumata Rau course. The remaining slots from your 8 courses could then be electives that you can choose. Electives give you the choice of choosing more courses from your major or courses from another subject under the Faculty of Science. Let's move on to some semi-structured ones. Unpacking how these programs are structured is best done by visualizing the degree as a whole. The vertical columns represent a year of study, with the blocks making up that column each depicting a course. This is a commerce example that is color-coded to depict what choices involved for each course listed. Purple depicts compulsory core courses, blue is a some choice option, so it's a this or that, and green is where you are free to choose your own course. Here is another semi-structured program example, which follows the exact same logic of color coding. Purple would be your compulsory courses that are chosen for you, blue are your this or that options, and green indicates all the courses you are free to choose. The example on the current slide is for global studies. Finally, let's move on to a structured program example. Let's take a look at engineering. The color blocking has remained the same. Here you can tell there's quite a substantial amount of purple, indicating the compulsory core courses. Then there's a little bit of blue, showing where you have some choice of this or that option. And finally, the last few papers are green, where you can choose your own. Just to make sure it's super clear, here's another structured program, architecture. As you can see, there is very little choice involved here, and the screen is pretty much all purple. With any degree that has compulsory courses, it's very important that you select these first and then fill in your electives or more flexible papers around them. For those of you planning a conjoint degree, it's the same idea. Compulsory courses come first, fill those in, and then go from there. Take a look at the middle example on the slide, depicting a Bachelor of Engineering and a Bachelor of Design conjoint. As engineering has quite a large number of compulsory papers, you can see that most of the spaces in the year are dedicated to the engineering degree. This is particularly prominent when comparing it to the more flexible degree options in a conjoint, like the arts or science example on top of it. If you are doing a conjoint, it is a good idea to visit our Student Hub team to get some help when enrolling, just to ensure that you are taking all the papers you need. So I've mentioned them a couple times before, and as part of the degree breakdowns, you will have seen something called the General Education course. At the University of Auckland, a general education paper is a unique opportunity to explore subjects outside of your main area of study. These courses are designed to broaden your thinking, encourage diverse perspectives, and help you develop skills that are valuable across all disciplines. Remember, as mentioned earlier on, course codes for general education papers will typically end in a G. As you can tell by the program structures on the slide, your general education paper can be completed in any year of study where it fits. You can find general education papers listed in the course schedule or the open schedule. The course schedule shows papers available to students in specific programs, whilst the open schedule includes papers open to all students, regardless of the degree they're enrolled in. New to the university is the idea of transdisciplinary learning opportunities. These transdisciplinary papers can be taken as a general education paper in 2026. They combine insight from multiple fields like science, arts, and business to tackle complex real-world issues. These courses are a great way to think creatively and collaboratively. Now that we've spoken a bit about what courses you may enroll in, let's talk a little bit about how you may actually enroll yourself into those courses. Once you have received and accepted your offer to study, you'll be directed to the Student Services Online, or SSO. Right at the screen, you can see what the landing page of Student Services Online looks like. As you can tell from all the icons, there are lots of things you can view and access through here. This can range from your academic records, any fees due, or a place to update your personal details and information. Once you have access to SSO, I highly recommend that you hop on and have a look at some of the features, but for now, we are going to look at the Enrollment tab. The Enrollment tab is where you will go to start building your university timetable and enrolling in your courses. First, you would click on the Add Classes With drop-down. As you can see, there are a few options to choose from for how you'll be selecting and adding your courses. For this presentation, we will use Timetable Planner. We will talk to program requirements a bit later on in the presentation. To start adding classes, select the Add Course button. You will then be able to search through all the courses on offer. This will generally be done by filtering through the courses by subject area. For example, you may select Biological Sciences or BioSci. It will then narrow down to display all the biological science related courses. You can then go on to select the specific course you require. For example, BioSci 102, Plants, Microbes and Society. Once you click on the course, it will give you a brief description of that course. Select the Add Course button and then rinse and repeat for each course you wish to add. You may also notice that there is an Add Break button. You can use this to add breaks into your timetable so that you can try and accommodate work or other commitments. Please be aware that it is not guaranteed that you'll be able to take breaks at your desired times alongside all the classes you need to enroll in. It is, however, worthwhile trying to see if you can fit them in. Once all your classes are selected, click on the Generate Timetable button to see the options available to you and select the desired timetable. It is important that once your timetable is chosen, you choose to send the timetable to your enrollment cart. So on the previous slide, I mentioned that you will generally add courses through the By Subject option. But what about the By Cohort tab? This option should be used by first-year Bachelor of Science students specializing in biomedical science or health science students who are intending to pursue a clinical pathway in Year 2. More information about which cohort to select will be sent to your email after accepting your offer for admission, if this is applicable to you. So just to help you conceptualize it, on the screen we can see two examples of what a university timetable may look like. It's really important to note that your timetable is unique and it depends on the courses you choose, so there is a lot of variability. You could get a whole 2 days free like the person on the left, or you may have slightly less busy days and your courses are slightly more spread out like the person on the right. Now here is a side-by-side example of what a conjoint degree timetable with a student taking 5 courses may look like compared to a student who is doing the usual 4 courses. As you can tell, 5 courses can fit into a schedule, but it is quite a bit more busy. So this is a really good thing to be aware of when you are considering whether 5 courses is the right option for you. Now let's jump back to the Student Services Online homepage. You can see there is a handy tab titled My Class Timetable. You can click this to view your schedule for the week throughout the semester. There is also a function to sync this to your digital calendar, which many students find quite useful. Now, onto the last bit of core information covered by this presentation, but arguably one of the most important or useful sections. Let's take a look at the program requirements. This tab is where you find out how you meet the requirements of your degree, as well as which courses you need to take, and importantly, when. slide depicts what your program requirement page may look like. This page is specific to your degree and the papers you have chosen to take, so it is an incredibly useful tool to track exactly how you are going. You can click through the different drop-down menus to see different components and stages of your degree requirements. On drop-down, where courses are specified, it will also indicate how many points are required for the relevant requirement, how many you have passed, how many are in progress, and how many you still need to complete to fully satisfy that component of your degree. Students are encouraged to view their Program Requirements tab regularly to ensure that they are in all the right courses and on track to graduate with their degree. Before I finish, I just wanted to briefly mention two other useful features to use when enrolling. The first is our faculty, subject and courses pages online, which can be accessed via the university website. These pages will give you a breakdown of all the courses and subjects offered by a faculty, as well as an indication of when they are offered, for example, semester 1 or semester 2. The next tool that is really worthwhile taking note of is course outlines. This can also be accessed via our website, and you can search for courses you are interested in. Once you have found the desired course, you can click on it and you will be presented with a breakdown of what that course entails, including a description of the course, workload expectations, the assessment methods it uses, and other useful information about course components such as labs, lectures, and tutorials, as well as the learning objectives and relevant course prerequisites, restrictions, or requirements. Finally, if you need assistance, remember you can always visit the friendly team at the Student Hub to stay on track, or you can look at our website for additional resources that are available. So that concludes the course advice presentation. Thank you for joining us. Should you have any questions, feel free to email the Schools and Community Engagement team on the email listed on the slide, which is scet@auckland.ac.nz. I hope you have a wonderful day ahead of you, wish you all the best for the rest of your studies, and hopefully we'll see you next year on campus. Mā te wā.